Hey everybody, it's Dean DeCosta, and today I'm doing an update to my email validation methodology. The reason I'm doing this is a couple things. Number one, the email validating program I use does not work anymore. So instead, we're going to use the one that you see in front of you, which is mybulkemailverifier.com. Really cool one. It'll do up to 50 at a time, which is good. You can download results, which is good. And as you can see here, it does a much more thorough verification than some of the others that I've shown you. In addition to that, the reason why we're going to use this is I'm going to share you some updates I've made to my email permeator tool. Going back to it, as you know, you have the one where you can put first name, last name, and then you can put company domain or any domain for that matter, even if it's a common domain like Hotmail, and it'll come up with the most likely permutations for that based on the name, which is really good. You have to do one domain at a time, and that's fine. As you know, I have the what I've also done here is I have the regular one I have, which is mainly for usernames, which I explained to you. So we're going to go use this as our example real quick. If I type in PRO43, which is one of the usernames I use, I already know which one's right, obviously, but I'm going to go ahead and test them. We're just going to test this top bit. Now, the idea being humans are creatures of habit. If we have a username for one social site, we probably have it for another, and we probably have an email address associated with it. These are the top 26 most common ones, which I explained in the first video. And so we're going to test just this group, just so I can just re-employ you, make sure you understand what I'm saying. So we just did the top bunch, and in fact, I'm actually going to narrow it down a little more because I don't want it to take too long. Like I said, this does a much more thorough test than the other one did. So we're going to validate. And as you can see, it's going to take a little bit of time. And what will happen is when the results are done, you're going to see them down here. For now, we're just going to let it go and do its thing. And while we're doing that, I'm going to show you a few other things that you need to be aware of on my permutator. So keep in mind, this is for usernames. This specific one is all the different variations you can have for work, which I had shown you. And what I want to show now, in addition to the one I'm already showing, is this one. This one is a really cool one because basically what it is this person here owns this domain. And as a result, I found doing a lot of research that when you own your own domain, you typically have an email address associated with it, and it's either email at, contact me, info, inquiry, first name, first and last, or sales. It's usually one of them. And so we're going to test that to see if it's right here in a minute. This is done, so let's go down to the bottom. This was for my Pro43, my username, and see what we got. We got maybe bad, and it is. Good, that's the correct one, by the way. Maybe bad, maybe bad, maybe bad. All the rest are maybe bad. The only one that turned out good is the one that is good. So there you go. That's how you do it. And remembering that I can download the results now here. Good to go, easy peasy. Everything works out good. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, and I'm going to use this as a real example quick before I go back to what I was doing, is the fact that Vibe is hit and miss right now. It was bought by Full Contact. Some people say it's working again. I can't get it to work. Other people can. I'm not worrying about it because I'm going to put all these here. And now I put two, four, what, six of them there. And there's a tool up here called Many Contacts. Now I'm going to give it a minute to read, and it just read. And I'm going to open it up. And as you can see, it is looking for social sites for all these emails. Well, guess what? The only one I found social sites for is pro43 at comcast.net. So LinkedIn's one of them. Let's open up LinkedIn and see who it is that they're dealing with. Wow, that's like, yeah, that's me. Open, shut, done, over. That's the right email. So that type of verifying is still available. You just got to use many contacts. And if not, you still have this verification way. Now let's go back to my permutator. And remember I told you this is for people who own their own domain and you don't know what the email is. We're going to grab all of these and we're going to do this two ways. First, we're going to allow many contacts to do its thing and see if it will connect the dots here. Now it may and it may not. Now two, four, six, there's eight of them here now, not nine. You got to give it a chance to read. Let's open up and see if it's still reading the old list. Nope, it's reading the new list, so let's see what we get. It may not find anything, and that's because the person may not use this domain name. Ah, look at that, we found one. Let's see, that's his name was Ryan, I believe. Ryan, and actually that was him. That's exactly who I was after. So it worked. Plain out, simple, easy, breezy. It worked. So this methodology would have worked here in that now we found it. But now here's the other part of the equation. We could have just as easily stuck them in here and let it test it to see which ones came back good, which ones came back bad, and the methodology still works. Now, what happens if we don't know that? All we have is their name. In this case, I created this one here where I use only the top six emails: AOL, Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo, and Gmail. I didn't use MSN or any other. I only use the top. And I came up with almost every permutation for a first name you can imagine. Now, I'm going to only copy down the Gmails because Lord knows I do not want to be here forever testing every single solitary one. First, I'm going to start with many contacts just to make it quicker. So we're going to delete them, put them in, and we're going to wait for it to read. It's already read there's 11. And we open it up, and it's already checking to see if, oh, and look at that, the very first one. Oh, we got two of them that could be right. Three, we got a boatload of them that could be right. The question is which one's the right one. The good part is the first one's got a LinkedIn, the second one's got a LinkedIn, these two don't, and this one down here doesn't. But the point is, you got your LinkedIn's. You'll be able to narrow them down right away to see if they're correct. Then the next one, you have a Google Plus, two Google Pluses. You'll probably be able to get them out of the way pretty quick to know if they're the right ones. And then that will leave you with only this one and this one to validate. Again, realizing that this also lets us know that probably only one, two, three, four, five of them are accurate. One of them is probably him. And in fact, if I remember correctly, two of them are him, and it's both of the ones that have LinkedIn accounts associated with them. So the methodology is still in play, just utilizing a few different tools, and then I've added the capability to use it when they own their own domain to figure it out, and I've added the capability for first and last name combinations in case nothing else happens. In case you usernames don't work, you can't find an email, this is it. So same thing, still in place, good to go, still a great tool, still a fantastic methodology. It works. Right now, it's working for me about 98% of the time. Very rare I can't find an email address with one of these. And again, if I can't narrow it down beyond the one, two, beyond two or three of them, as with the first video says, I would go into using either Clearbit or Full Contact, let them find me more info based on the email and try to narrow it down that way. And that's only if Many Contacts hasn't. Many Contacts adds that big feature in there to where the using of Google Sheets and Blockspring along with Clearbit and Full Contact becomes the last thing I do. If Many Contacts can't get it narrowed down for me, as I showed you with the one I showed you, it could have conceivably, if the two LinkedIn's are wrong and the Google Pluses are wrong, there was only two that I would probably not have had a picture to be able to narrow it down to. And let's just say I didn't, I would stick those two into the Clearbit as with the first video. It's important you see the first video because a lot of this is just a play off there. I'm not re-explaining it and showing again, just explaining the new stuff. I could have stuck them in there and I would have been for sure know which one was the right one. And guess what? If worse comes to worse and you got narrowed down to two emails, you know one's right, but you don't know which one, email them both. Not a big deal. All right. Well, this is Dean DaCosta with my email finding methodology part two. Thank you very